I've got another one here, and this one's kind of a pet peeve of mine. But it's just, I feel like our in the world today, there's just a lot of, if you're not on my side, you're the enemy. There's no middle ground, I feel like, on a lot of topics nowadays. And as a result, a lot of people, are very set in their beliefs. And so when you say something to them, rather than them considering it and thinking about it and being, like, okay, well, there's some validity to this point, they just completely disregard it. And like some people will laugh and just be like, you're insane, like that's so stupid, and just kind of like immediately like deny it and laugh at it and not put any thought to it and think, okay, well, does this make sense? And there are some things where you could easily be like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. But realistically, everything should kind of have some thought put towards it. And there's just a lot of things where everyone's like, just unwilling to agree to disagree. I have a whole thing written out here, so I'm gonna just read it, and then we'll see. We'll see if I need to break it down or not. I wrote out like an analogy, I guess. Let's see. I wrote this a while ago, so imagine an apple orchard split in two, and on one side the people only eat the apple leaves, and on the other side they eat the apples. The side that was told that the leaves are okay. I kind of see what I'm saying with this, but okay, but I'm gonna start again. Maybe I'll just cut that and then I'll start it here. Yeah. Imagine an apple orchard split in two, and on one side the people only eat the apple leaves, and on the other side they eat the apples. The side that was told that the leaves are where the nutrients are, and that the apples have no nutrition and taste terrible, and are potentially even poisonous through propaganda. Okay, I'm gonna start again and just kind of paraphrase my my analogy here, because it's not perfectly written and I just confused myself a little bit. But basically, you know, imagine you have an apple orchard, or you have two separate apple orchards for two different towns, and in one town, you know, the people were told the apples, like imagine no one knew what apples were, okay, because you would think, like, this analogy makes no sense from our perspective, because obviously, like, why the heck would you eat an apple, eat the leaves of an apple when there's the apple there? That makes no sense. But imagine, like, no one knew what apples were, and so the people that grow, the people that like tend to the apple fields eat the leaves, and they don't mess with the apples because the leaves have all the nutrients. The leaves taste good, taste way better than the apples do, and the apples are even potentially poisonous. So you don't want to eat an apple. That's dangerous. So they've been raised to believe that the apple leaves are where it's at. So they eat these apple leaves. I mean, it's ridiculous. I understand, but it's just for the analogy. And so the people that told them this, though, are now taking the apples, and they can say, oh, we're taking these apples and safely disposing of them for your own good. But they're really giving them to the other farm where the other village where they're growing apples as well, and they're eating the apples because they know the apples are where, the apples are the fruit. It tastes better. There's more nutrition in it. It's not poisonous. So they're eating these apples and they're enjoying the apples. And so these people that were telling them, hey, eat the leaves, are taking these apples, saying, we're doing this for your own good, and now selling these apples for a profit to the other side. At the expense of these people that they're eating the apple leaves. And for each side, we'll look at the other side and be like, why the heck are you eating, like that side that eats apples will look at the side that's eating apple leaves and be like, why the heck are you eating apple leaves? That's insane. But the other side, who's eating the apple leaves, who's raised on eating apple leaves, will be like, why are you eating the apples? That's dangerous. Like, you could die. Like, you're crazy, And because they've both been raised in their beliefs and they both have their own ways of looking at it, they refuse to accept that maybe one side was right or one side is wrong. And the people that like eat the leaves, could just be in like absolute denial, and it's all because of propaganda and what they've learned and what they've taught. And it kind of goes into the whole, you only know what you've experienced and what you've been told. So you got to kind of take everything with a grain of salt, because you never know what is and isn't true. It's a scary thought to think about, but realistically, our entire history could be fabricated. Or at least altered in some way, and how would we know? Because we weren't there, is what I'm trying to say. But, yeah, but basically what I'm saying is, you can't just immediately discredit someone's ideas because they sound absurd or they don't make sense, because sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction, and you kind of need to look into things for yourself and kind of make your own judgments, I guess. But don't immediately discredit a person with their ideas because they just may be right. And just because you think you're right doesn't mean you are. And I feel like some people can't accept that. But, yeah, basically what I'm saying is sometimes you gotta kind of look into things. And I guess another thing I can add on to this is, don't judge someone too hardly because of their beliefs, because it may not be their fault that they think that way. If you've been raised your whole life to eat apple leaves, you're going to think that that's the right thing to do. You're going to think that that's the way things should be. And that's not your fault. That's just how you were raised. You can't know that that was wrong if everyone told you it was right, because that's just how society works. Whatever everyone says goes. And so, as much as like they may be wrong, realistically they may be wrong to you, they're right to them, and the only way you're going to make them understand that is through, talking about it and discussing it and kind of engaging them, rather than just blocking them out or yelling at them or hating them and all that stuff. That doesn't resolve the situation. It just makes things worse. But yeah, I think that's it. So, peace.
Hey, wow, that was great.
So great.
No need to overhype it.
It was alright.
Fair enough.
Why don't we go this way, guys?
What's over there? Probably another video.
Let's go there.
I'm in.